Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us again. This week we're going to have GHL joining us on the Reef Experience. Going to get Lewis in here and get this thing going. What's up, guys?
What's up, sir?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, brother. Happy Thursday.
Yeah, man.
Long overdue, man. Today we got a good one.
Yep, absolutely. I've been looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah, man.
Guys in here. What's up, everybody joining?
I appreciate everybody joining, man. I'm gonna apologize in advance. I'm a little under the weather, so Des gonna be running the show. I mean, good thing about like me and Des is that we kind of got our own share of like experiences, and actually GSL's all of Des's alley. So it's perfect, for today. I'm sure Des is gonna, have a bunch of good questions. Are you already all hooked up on your tank, Des? As
Yeah, I'm
far
pretty
as
much have my tank set up with the Profilux 4, and I got some sensors and whatnot going on.
nice,
It'll be dope to hear from them.
I love it. I love it. Well, hey, shout out to everybody joining, man. Appreciate the love. Shout out to Dream State Living. She has a YouTube channel, and she's in one of the chat rooms I'm in, and she actually came like 2 weeks ago and filmed like a really cool movie of the tank, like a not like a whole YouTube clip, and it's coming out tomorrow at 12. So y'all check it out, man. I'm excited to see it myself. I'm gonna be watching it with y'all for the first time, so definitely show some love on that. But thanks, Dream State, for thinking about me on that.
And what is it about, though?
Pretty much, just a tour of the tank, kind of. She does tank tours, and she does all types of videos. Actually, man, she does a bunch of cool videos and tutorials and kind of her tank and all that. And she also does tank tours, man. So and she has really good videos. So we were able to link up, and yeah, man, I'm excited about it.
That's pretty dope. All
Yeah,
right,
man.
everybody. I'm just waiting for them to come in here and join us. Today I was able to get some stuff done, though. I started building a water change station in the garage.
Ooh,
Got my cousin to come over, and we mounted the RODI. Got some holes made in the wall so it comes out of the front. So it's
nice.
actually perfect. I'm going to get some big buckets and put underneath it. That way I can make all the water here in the garage.
And just to clarify, you said mixing station, right?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have the RODI thing. I'm gonna set up the 3 buckets. Eventually, I'll get a doser that can move the water from back and forth, but just so that way I always have it ready to go.
No, that's awesome.
Okay, it's kind of a mission to make water for such a big tank.
It
Actually,
is. It is. But yeah, Jeff's Lagoon, what's up, man? Hope all is well. The truth. We got a bunch of people on here, man. I'm curious to see like what type of questions we're gonna get out here, man. It's cool to have GHL jump on, man. Like big company too, but they're definitely from across the pond, right? So
I
I'm
think the
curious.
company itself is, but the person that should be joining us is Vinny, and they're here in the U.S.
Gotcha.
But
I
I
love.
believe it comes from Germany. I want to say.
Yeah, and I mean they got it figured out over there, man. I've always said that about like Tropic Marin and Aquaforce, all these European brands, man. They don't cease to amaze in a lot of product lines, man. So I figured, GHL wouldn't be far behind. You know what I mean? Um, and I've always heard nothing but good things about them too. It's one of those companies that you just constantly hear nothing but good stuff about them. Really, I mean, at least my experience with them for the most part, what I've seen. It seems like they got a really good reputation going. You know what I mean? Um,
So far, I like it. I mean, it's been working. This is my first time using a controller, so
mm,
my first experience with it. I like having the app. I like seeing the pH. I like seeing the temperature, the charts. I think you need it. I don't see why you wouldn't have the controller on your tank. Especially all the people that have those fully stocked tanks and they're full of coral. I don't see why you wouldn't want to have that. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like I feel
no,
like you need it.
no, it's understandable. What was I going to tell you? As far as GHL is concerned, like they do bring
What's
in
up,
like
sir?
Yeah, and they also do carry like a bunch of different products as well, right? Have you got anything else but the controller from GHL yet, or and are you planning to go down the product line with the tank, or are you gonna, are you still kind of debating what the future is on your tank?
I actually plan on going down the full product line. So I've added the leak sensors, and I put four in today all around the sump.
You did
Um,
write about that today.
yeah. Hey, how you doing, sir?
Hey, how's it going,
Guys,
bud? Thanks for
good to see you
joining us.
guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Man,
man. Well, go
it's
ahead.
an
You can
honor to
introduce
have you,
yourself. You
man.
just jumped on. We were just talking about it.
Nice, nice.
So yeah. So today I was able to set up the leak sensors all around the sump. Um, I watched one of the YouTube videos that they have on their website. I just followed the instructions exactly, and I was able to set it up. If it goes off, if it trips, it'll turn off my return pump, the skimmer, and the UV. Since the
Yeah,
UV is outside of the tank, so it's pretty dope. I mean, I like having it. The
that's
idea that
amazing.
all of that's going to work is kind of cool.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, thanks for taking the time out to join us. I mean, it's an honor to have GHL on. One thing we like to kind of the way we usually kick it off with most of the people is just kind of getting a little bit of you guys. Just the backstory of GHL. We were doing a lot of just discussing me and Des, but we would love to hear from directly from y'all. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the story of GHL, it's a German company. It began about 20 years ago. It started off with their first product being the Proflux One. Originally, it was just a small project from the company owner. He started that project because there were a few aquarists who were looking for some sort of automation. So he created that prototype, and then he realized that there's a gap in the market that could be filled by introducing some level of tank automation. So the first generation Proflux was born, and from that point on, there were multiple improvements and features and upgrades that were implemented, and eventually the Proflux One became obsolete, and the Proflux Two was introduced, and then there was a three, and now we have the Proflux Four. Today's features. Um, GHL produces not just controllers, but we also make dosing pumps. We also make lighting systems. So that would be the GHL Metris. And
Yep.
then we also have our automated testing devices, KH Director and Ion Director being those devices. The company, as I said earlier, is based out of Germany, and GHL USA is the sister company. So we have our own dedicated team and our warehouse in North Carolina. So that's where we handle North American distribution.
Nice.
that's
That's pretty
amazing.
dope. Like I was telling you before, one of the things as the weeks have been going on and we've been doing this live stream, I remember just in the planning stages of building the tank, there was multiple weeks where I talked about wanting to have a controller on the tank. I think just the idea of it all being automated and then you just being able there to watch it and maintain it, it changes everything. For example, today me setting up the water change station inside of the garage, and I was just thinking how much easier is it going to be for me to have water just ready to go and be able to move it. And my cousin was helping me, and he was like, "How are you going to get the water from the garage to the tank?" And I was telling him, well, if I had the controller set up with dosing pump, I can move the water from there to there without ever having to do anything. And I just think the idea of that and having it on the aquarium is awesome, really.
Yeah, yeah, definitely having a control on your tank is like having a Swiss Army knife, right? So you can definitely do a whole lot of things with the controller, not just in terms of monitoring for data purposes, but also just controlling certain outlets, maybe ATO tasks, water change tasks, leakage monitoring, like you're doing, Des.
Hmm.
Uh, there's you can make it as automated as you really want it. It really comes down to what level of automation are you comfortable with.
Right.
Because there are some people out there that may not feel comfortable with giving all control to the controller, which is totally understandable. We respect that. And then you have your folks that want to tie in as much as possible so that they can be as hands off as possible with their tank.
Yeah,
Because as you guys know, in this hobby, it can be very time consuming, especially in the beginning as the tank
it
is
can
getting
be.
to the stable point.
Yep.
So last thing you want to do is spend your weekend carrying buckets and doing manual
And
water
that's
change.
and that was what I was speaking with him about because he doesn't have a tank. So I was explaining to him, imagine if I could open an app and hit a button,
Yeah,
and everything you just watched me do over the past 2 hours never happened, right?
yeah,
And I just think it takes it to the next level. I think I think the idea of the controller stops you from being in tune with the tank. I don't think that's a real thing. If you can open an app on your phone and it tells you everything that's going on in real time in your tank, and then you still put forth the same effort if you want to double check something, test it over, you're still going to look at the tank every day. You're still going to check it out. So I don't see how it would prevent you from being able to, you know what I mean, be in tune with your tank.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think there's anything wrong with giving it the control because you're still there every day to check it out.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, when you have a controller, you got to have something that's super reliable and something you can count on, so that when you go away on vacation, because everybody needs a vacation at some point. When you go away, last thing you want to worry about is when I go on vacation, I need to check on my tank. Can I count on it actually connecting so I can check on the tank? With a ProFlow controller, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to be so concerned about sudden components in the controller system going haywire on you. Because these devices, not just limited to the controller, but also the power strips, all the accessories, dosing pumps, lights, all these things are built to last. So everything is manufactured, designed in-house in Germany. So when it comes to manufacturing and just the design process of the products, these aren't tasks that are done that are outsourced. They're all done in-house. And the
Is
reason we do that is because we feel that when you have more control over the design and the assembly process, you have more opportunity to catch little issues, so that it doesn't actually trickle down to the consumer. Last thing you want is something going bad, like a power strip on you. These are critical components that just has to work. No excuses. So when we design all our products, we have that kind of mentality in mind, that when the consumer gets it, it just has to work, and
now,
that's what you get from a controller.
do you guys set up a lot more systems with just the Profilux or full automation setups? What's more? What do you see more often?
People that are curious about just getting into some level of automation, depending on whether they are freshwater or saltwater aquarists, that depends. What they pick really depends on what kind of aquarists they are. If we're talking about specifically saltwater aquarists, then those folks generally tend to gravitate to the Profilux 4, the mega set. Why? Because that gives you the most ports, the most controllability and features built in without you having to add external module to expand the system. Much of what most people need is already built into the head unit.
Right.
And
I
then
would,
from that point on, they can grow the system at their own pace. So later on, if they want to start doing dosing, they can do that as well. They can just tie in a doser 2.1 into the system, and you have a more level, more integrated system at your disposal.
just to clarify, you said mega set, so that's the director and the doser, or just for some people that are just curious. I know I see it in the background. I'm assuming that's what you got.
Yeah.
So what? But can you guys, for the people that don't know, can you entail what the mega set includes?
Yeah, the mega set is the controller. So right behind Des, that's the
Yeah.
mega set right there. That's
Okay.
gonna come with the controller, the head unit, your 4 probes. So it's gonna be your temperature, pH, salinity, and redox. It's gonna come with your 6-outlet power strip and all the connection cables that you need to get that whole system up and running. If you want to add a cage director, you can definitely add it. You can tie that into the system. That's not a problem at all. Cage director, a lot of times we get the question, does the cage director require a ProPlus controller? The answer is no, it doesn't, because we offer 2 versions of the cage director. We have an option that comes with a standalone doser, which is the brains of that system. And then we have a cage director that comes with a slave doser. That kit is for people who either already have a standalone doser from GHL, or they have a Proflux 3 or a Proflux 4 controller.
Nice. One of the cool things someone mentioned earlier to me about GHL is the fact that all of the units can work independently of each other without needing the actual controller itself. Why did you guys set it up that way?
In terms of the flexibility, especially when it comes to the standalone doser, we find that people who are curious about GHL and the products that it offers, we find that the standalone doser, is the first product that they get into to get their feet wet a little. Later down the road, if they decide that they want to build on that system and try out the Proflux controller, they could comfortably take that standalone doser that they already have and just switch it over into slave mode. So that way you can take that now slave doser and integrate it into the Proflux 4 system. So it completely eliminates the need of having you to go out and buy a whole new doser just to integrate it with your Proflux controller. So we give you that level of flexibility when it comes to jumping into our ecosystem.
Mm.
Which is something that's really unique because no other controller works that way.
Right.
So far, my experience with it, I'll tell you another question that popped up and something I did have a little trouble with. When setting it up, I have never in my life logged anything into Wi-Fi. Like I've never gone on my computer and had to figure out a router and all of that kind of stuff. And, you know, they're telling me, all right, it's super simple how to do it. When someone explained it to me that it's a more reliable connection, and that's why it's worth the effort, so to speak, to set it up the way that you guys do. What was the thought process on just the initial setup part of it versus something that's Bluetooth connected versus other controllers where they say they lose the signal all the time or it falls out and you get that notification in the middle of the night, but nothing's really wrong. Mine has never disconnected. Once I got it going, it's worked 100% of the time. Is that the difference, that initial kind of setup phase of it, where it's a better connection, and that's why it's kind of, because I found it, you know, a little difficult.
We feel that Wi-Fi is the way to go in terms of connectivity. If you go the Bluetooth route, your connection options are rather limited. It's actually limited to just local point of access. So if you're in front of it and you're within the range of that Bluetooth signal, you can connect. With Wi-Fi, you can do that and also set yourself up for global access through the cloud.
Okay.
So you definitely have a lot more flexibility in that regard. In terms of the setup process, the controller itself has its own built-in hotspot. So not only does it have the capability of connecting to your home Wi-Fi, but it also has the capability of emitting its own hotspot signal. So our thought process to that is, if one day you go to connect to your controller and through your internet and your internet goes down, you always have a backup, something to fall back on, and that's the hotspot that the controller is always sending off. So what you do at that point is you just take your phone and you just reconnect it to connect it to that P4 hotspot, and you'll still have wireless access.
Is that proprietary to you
Controller.
guys? I've never heard of anybody else having that. Is that something exclusive to y'all? That system?
The built-in hotspot?
Yeah.
That's something that's standard on our controllers, and it's not just on our Proflux 4 controller, but it's also on our base model Proflux.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it exclusive to your company? Is it something that you can only? I mean, as far as like, you know, I haven't heard of that in any other controllers. I could be wrong, Des. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But
No, yeah, that's why I brought it up, because I remember when trying to figure it out, I didn't really understand what I was doing, right?
I really like that though.
And I'm actually limited to that because I've never connected something that way before. And then once it was the why of it was explained to me, and I had a day where there was no Wi-Fi in the house, but I was still able to go onto the app and it still worked. And and once someone explained it to me, it made more sense that it's just a better a better way to do it.
Yeah, so you definitely have more connectivity options, and it doesn't stop there. You know, we still give you more ways to connect. So on top of connecting through your home network, connecting through the built-in hotspot,
You can go to the
um,
website.
you can go, yeah, through the website, through the cloud. That's technically through your own network.
Hmm.
But that other option is connecting through the Windows program, which was the original way to access the controller. So that we still leave that door open. So people that would rather just work off of maybe a Windows computer or just a bigger screen in general, they can connect through a dedicated program called GHL Control Center. And with that program, you can connect either USB or to the hotspot or through your network. So we give you a pretty extensive range of connectivity options to choose from. So
Let me
like I said, you're never locked out.
let me ask you a question. With the feature of the screen and the buttons that it has on the front, could the controller work per se without Wi-Fi? Being that you can calibrate everything there, it shows you all the readings there. Could you essentially control it just from that one panel?
You can. You can. Yeah. I mean, if you don't mind working off of a smaller screen,
Right.
um, it's doable.
Because I
Yeah.
have it. It says my name and everything in it.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. You can definitely customize it. So when it starts up, you can have like your own little welcome text. So that's pretty neat. If you ever want to just get a quick glance of what your tank parameters are, you don't even have to take out your phone. As long as you're in front of that controller, you can just wait for the screen to scroll through um, the basically you hold this it's basically like a slideshow. So
Right.
that display will show you all your probe parameters. If you have a KH director connected to it, it'll tell you what your last alkalinity test result was. You can have it display your illumination channels. So depending on if you're using your Profilux to control your lights, it can tell you, is it on, is it off? If it's dimmable, it'll tell you what percentage is running at. Same thing with your flow pumps. So if you wanted to just see what maybe your Vortec or your Tunzi pump is doing, you can see in real time, what that flow rate is just off of that little screen.
It's pretty dope. Louis, what do you got?
As far as one thing that I've heard, as far as like the most there's not a lot of options out there for alkalinity testers per se. So you guys offering one of those options. I mean, one of the things I've heard is you guys definitely, so out of the people that I've heard using your product, they find a lot of reliability on your product as far as the accuracy, no faultiness, like no faultiness. Is there anything, that you think we should anything you want to kind of break down for us as far as like the KH director and the process? I mean, a lot of people have a lot of questions about the ALK in general, and especially on this chat right now. I know there's a bunch of people in here right now, including Chef Parcero, that he's constantly, gauging his ALK, and kind of he's on controllers now. Anything you can break down to us as far as the KH director, kind of what you guys offer, and kind of like you did about the other stuff that you sold me on. What does a KH director have that maybe others don't, or what?
Sure. Well, to start off, alkalinity, it's the backbone of reef keeping. If you can't keep that stabilized, then you're going to have a hard time keeping the corals happy. So where the KH director comes in is it could take the weight of having to do your manual testing. It'll take that weight off your shoulders. To take that even further, if you wanted to have the KH director automatically adjust your dosing schedules, or maybe if you wanted to have it automatically adjust your calcium reactor, it has the capability to do that through the Profilux. So,
Can you
for example,
please go a little deeper on that, because that to a lot of people is probably a scary thought, to think that it would manually make it'll automatically make adjustments to dosing. Can you specify on that for us?
Yeah, I totally get the concern about it's a scary thought to think your alkalinity dosing is going to be fully automated just through a testing device. The question eventually gets asked, But what happens if you get a wild cage reading that ends up being a false test? Does the does that mean I'm going to dump a whole bunch of alkalinity into the system? With a cage director, you wouldn't have to worry about that because you have built-in safety measures. So basically, in addition to that, that automated testing, alkalinity testing schedule that you would set up, you can also set up a control where you tell the system how many mils you want it to adjust when your test result deviates by a certain amount, um, and based on that, it'll make the change. So where your safety measures come in is you tell the system, okay, I want it to adjust my alkalinity by, let's say, 5 mils, uh, my dose by 5 mils when the alkalinity is, let's say, 0.5 away from my target alkalinity. Okay, but I don't want the change to be more than 10 mils. You can set those type of conditions. So even if the case director is constantly giving you 8.5, 8.5, 8.5, and suddenly one day you end up getting 6.0, you don't have to worry about, or even 10.0. You don't have to worry about a sudden increase in extra dosing because you have those safety limits in place.
That's pretty dope. I think me and him, we argue this point of automation a lot because I think just as much worry people put into is it going to dose too much into the tank and kill everything, I don't think enough the same effort is put into, well, how often do you actually even test your alk in real life? You know what I mean? How aware are you that your numbers have dropped when you've added certain things to the tank? How aware are you of the change that's happening when you're doing your water change? Do you really know where you were and where you went, how far up you went or how far
Yeah.
down you went? So for me, I've always argued the point of I'd rather have a controller that I can open it. It gives me something every single time I open it. It's going to make adjustments every single time something goes up or goes down. And it's more likely to do the right thing versus me where life can get involved and maybe I don't check the alk all week. And
Yeah.
if you have a fully stocked tank, you know what I mean, that could be a bad thing. I don't want to hand dose stuff to my tank anymore, right? That's not a real thing. I would rather have a controller test it, make minor adjustments, have limits, than it depend on what time I got home from work and whether or not I feel like going over and doing it.
Yeah, and just a little backstory on us. If you go back a few Reef Experience episodes, some of our best kind of episodes have been based around controllers. Des got into the controller world and broke the ice with GHL, which caught everybody from left field. Just because he kind of switched it on us last minute, but we loved it, and it just made for more interesting episodes. And having you guys on now, it's even better. We'll definitely reflect on this, but as far as me, I had a sour experience in the beginning with Neptunes, unfortunately, and I got it because I love the brand. I at that point I thought, I was sold. I was really convinced, and unfortunately, I was let down. Not necessarily, and they've been on some of our streams, and we've offered to let them come on, and I would love to hear from them, and so they can tell us otherwise. But this isn't no secret. You'll go back a few live experience, and you'll hear the story of me kind of explaining where my sour, and that's why me and Des have always gone back and forth because this kind of transpired into Des kind of playing devil's advocate and saying, well, this is why controller and automation works, which his points are usually very accurate. It's hard to deny. But I definitely found that, I want to find something a little bit more, something I feel I would feel more comfortable after that kind of sour taste I had. So I went looking into, and I've been thinking about GHL, and that's kind of broken. But even before that, we have some chat rooms where it's hundreds and hundreds of reefers. And a lot of the real good ones I know run GHL systems, like these SPS growers, like they're running like GHL, and reputation, results, reliability, to your point, which I think is probably number one, especially with my bad experience in the past. So to hear all the reinsurances really kind of pushed me to want to try yours out. because I feel it's probably more what I needed from the first place. You know, I think I bought with just emotions and not really thought process. So I kind of, that's probably, you know, sounds like Des made the right move.
Well, that
You
that
know
was
what I mean?
that was kind of my argument, right?
Yeah.
I went more with the thought process, right? It didn't matter to me which controller necessarily. Like I didn't have my heart set on one brand, right? What I had my mindset on was the idea of automating the tank. What's going to be the easiest way for me to get this to work? What's going to be, you know, there's other companies. There's so much stuff that is kind of overwhelming, right? I want automatic water change. I want that to happen super easy. I want automatic K8. I want my alk to be tested every day, and I want something to dose it. And if it's going crazy, then I need to come over there and adjust and pay attention and do whatever I need to do. I wanted my ATO to be connected to the system. I wanted the heater. I wanted everything to just be in one thing and be able to control it from one thing without having to buy 1,000 pizzas. Um, the ion director, the idea that I could have something do essentially every test aside from one, it's, you know what I'm saying? That's perfect. Because even if I wanted to set it up, I believe I could set it up with a doser and have those trace elements set up and dose, you know what I mean? And then maybe that takes your ICP testing to the next level. I just think it was easier. It was easier. All the products matched. I always say this. One of the things you don't know, I liked it because it matched my sump, right? Part of my whole thing that I did was that it was color coded, right? I wanted it all to match. So that was part of it, right? I had to like it too. If I would have put, you know, the other one in there, it would have looked crazy. None of it would have went together.
Accurate.
So I just kind of went with the thought process. I didn't have my heart set on one thing, which was going to be the easiest, which do I buy the least amount of stuff, what's going to work more long term. One of the things that did offset me a little bit was the idea if something's wrong, maybe I kind of got to fix it myself. But then again, you know, I've said this on the stream, I'm not a big call customer service kind of guy, right? I would probably get another one before I took it all the way apart. Why do you guys go that route as far as you know, warranty fixes or things like that? Could you talk about the warranties?
Yeah. So standard warranty is 2 years, which, as far as I know, I don't believe any other controller manufacturer gives you 2 years, but we do. And the reason for that is because we hope that it shows the level of trust and reliability that we have in our own products, that we know that it's not going to go haywire after the first year.
Right.
It's not even going to go haywire on you after the second year.
That's a mic drop moment right there.
So you know, going back to just going back to the history of GHL, we have users that are still running our second generation Pro Plus controller, which is over 15 years old.
That's
and
crazy.
and when we ask them, you know, do you have any, you know, do you want to maybe upgrade to a ProFlux 4 because hey, now you got built-in Wi-Fi, you have cloud access, which is something that wasn't even possible back when the ProFlux 2 was around. And they say, no, I really don't have any reason to change because, you know, everything's just working. Why fix what's not broken? It just keeps going.
That's
and
amazing.
so we tell them, all right, well said. If it's still working, great. We love to hear that.
Nice. I mean, so far mine has been working. Like I said, it hasn't disconnected. The next thing I want to add is a doser, and then I want to get the KH director on it. That's the next level of it, because I just did the leak sensors today. When I first originally got it, I was able to set up the heater really easily. I was able to set up the ATO super easy. So, you know, I've just been doing it little by little, just getting used to being able to use the app, going through it. I do reference the YouTube videos because it's specific. I can go to one and it says how to set up the heater, and I just watched it, paused it, did what it said in the app, moved on. So that was really helpful. But I enjoy having it. You know what I mean? I've never had it before, and I really do enjoy having it.
Des, you brought up the doser. That's one of the next things you want to get. I saw in one of my feeds on my IG feed, like you know, it popped up on my Explorer that you guys released the new dosers. Is that correct? Am I correct or?
We
Say that
gave
one more time.
we gave a little sneak peek on the next generation of a doser model that was discontinued a couple years ago. That was the Doser Maxi. We can call that the bigger brother of the 2.1 doser.
Ooh.
The difference between the Maxi and the 2.1 is just the sheer size of the motors themselves. The Maxi motors, to put it into perspective, they were capable of nearly 10 times the amount of flow rate than the motors on the 2.1 dosers. So the benefit to having these Maxi motors, these larger motors on the Maxi, was being able to just do larger volume water changes. Because when you try to do water changes on a with a 2.1 motor, these motors they can do up to 40 mils a minute. But when you're trying to do 3, 4, 5 gallon water changes, how long is that motor going to have to run for to really
Right.
about 5 gallons of water? It's going to run for a really long time. And inevitably, that's just going to put more strain on the motor. So the answer to that is the Maxi. So with that Maxi motor, the first generation, it was capable of putting out 350 mils a minute. So you can knock out a 5 gallon water change in less time without putting anywhere near as much strain on the motor. It was also suitable for just larger aquariums who likely end up going through more evaporated water. So for ATO purposes, it was the solution to that. We just teased a few days ago the next generation, which we're calling the Maxi 2.2. We're gonna put out more technical specs on the capabilities of it in the coming months. But for the folks who follow our IG page, if you go to our story, you should still be able to see what a rendering of what that 2.2 Maxi doser will look like when it's in production.
It's gonna be perfect. That way I can set up the auto water change pretty easily.
Absolutely, yeah. And for my tank right behind me, I try to automate as much as possible, and I've automated even my water changes. So if you like, I can show you what the first generation Maxi looked like, so you can get an idea of what to expect when the 2.2 comes out.
There is some information though on it on the site, isn't there? I believe I went on the site and I was able to see some stuff on it.
There's information on the 2.1 model.
Okay.
If you've seen anything on the regular Maxi, then that's a discontinued product now. So
Okay.
once we get closer to finalizing the Maxi 2.2, then we'll put out a new technical sheet, giving everybody a breakdown of what it's capable of and how it can be used. When that 2.2 doser comes out, the Maxi 2.2, it's going to have the same concept as the existing doser 2.1, which is you have a standalone option for those that don't have a ProFlux controller, and then you're also going to have an option for a slave doser for people who already have a standalone doser or a ProFlux controller.
And so this one doser is going to be able to do the small amounts and the big amounts?
Yeah, so it's gonna be a speed adjustable motor. So if you wanted to dose smaller amounts, you can drop the speed of the motor. If you wanted to do larger volume water changes, you would obviously want to run it at the faster speed so it can knock out that water change in less time.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and the standalone models for these dosers, doser 2.1 and the Maxi 2.2, we're going to have built-in temperature ports. So even with the existing doser 2.1, the standalone version of it has a built-in temperature port. So in essence, these are more than just dosers. You can connect a digital temperature probe just for strictly temperature monitoring through the doser. You can connect magnetic stirs. So if anybody's dosing anything that requires a little bit of shaking up before an actual dose, you can just sit the bottle on the stir plate, set up the stir plate to mix the solution up to a certain number of times a day, and you can make sure that the solution is well mixed before the actual dose happens. You can also connect float sensors and optical
And
sensors.
you can do, and you're going to be able to connect all of this just to the doser alone.
Through a standalone model. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and these are things that you can do already with the standalone 2.1. You know, so for people that don't have a Pro Plus controller and are interested in a doser, if they choose to get the standalone doser version, they'll have temperature monitoring, built-in support for magnetic stirrers, uh, built-in support for float sensors and optical sensors, specifically for auto top off or even automatic water changes. And all this is built in without having to go out and buy, you know, the controller itself.
This guy's on mute. We can't hear you. You're on mute.
We got Reef Dudes in here, so thanks for joining, Reef Dudes. He was talking about pretty cool features and stuff like that. Somebody had asked about the Ion Director. When will it be available in the U.S.?
We're waiting on the sensors to be finalized. The sensors went through multiple revisions, and with every revision, the sensor production became more complex because it just required more raw materials. And in the middle of a global shortage, it just takes longer to produce a sensor because of the added complexity of the sensor. So once we get all the sensors that we need for the U.S. market, we can start shipping the Ion Directors.
Yeah, now that you speak about the U.S. market, you know, me and Des, as you can tell, he's an Aquaforest fan. He was using Tropic Marin too, went back to Aquaforest. I actually started with Aquaforest because of Des. I was interested in it, and then he was already using it, so he kind of sold me on it, and then I switched over to Tropic Marin. I'm in the agriculture business, and I've always heard highly about what's happening in Europe. In the agriculture side, you know that you know a lot of the chemicals, a lot of the machinery, a lot of the processes, a lot of the operations are very well put together overseas. Hence why me and him kind of jumped to the salts from overseas.
Mhm.
You're from the U.S. office, correct?
Yep.
But you being inundated in that world and kind of being in that European market, what are the key differences that you've noticed from the European style reefing versus the US style reefing, especially in the choice of controllers and stuff like that? It seems like GHL is like, you know, it's what is it, a house name brand, you know what I mean, overseas. So can you enlighten us on that a little bit?
Yeah. So since I'm not, since I haven't lived in Europe, I can't really say exactly what their mentality is like. But from what I've seen, just reading on forums and just watching YouTube videos from English folks, they seem to be more concerned about the level of reliability of a product that they decide to use for their electronics that they decide to use in their aquarium. They are more concerned about that than the price point of a product, because to them, I feel like they look at it as long as they know that the product has a reputation for working and they can count on it to work, they will buy the product and trust in the brand to basically get the controller to do what they're looking to automate.
Right. Because it's a better long-term choice.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, with regard to reliability, you can have the fanciest looking interface, the prettiest looking controller out there, but if you can't count on it to work when it needs to work, which is every time, then what good is all that pretty stuff?
100%, 100%. And I mean, that's one of the things that definitely kind of holds me back, you know. And I'm definitely leaning towards the GHL. So, but reliability for me is so important in the controller, just because, you know, a lot of people, there's different ways of going into controllers. You know, Des is blessed enough to kind of be going down the journey of the reef tank with the controller from day one. But there's a lot of people that don't take that route. Like, for example, right now, I got one of one corals in here that are babies to me. You know what I mean? They're my babies. They're my children. You know what I mean? For me to count on something to kind of manage that, is very scary to me. So I like, to your point, I do want automation. I do want controller out. Granted, I mean, I installed originally a controller in here. I had a bad experience, but ultimately I installed it because I wanted it, right? Long before. It kind of been like Des's journey too. Pretty similar to his story. You know, I kind of put it on early on actually. But I think it's so important, and I just love the way you got, like, you so confidently, stand behind the product. I think that means a lot in this world, in the controller world. And you don't take it for granted, because it's your product is accounting for some of people's babies. You know what I mean? Some people treat these tanks like, I mean, Des knows. I'm not
Yeah,
speaking
sure.
anything that nobody else knows. It's so near and dear. So to your point, and I think, and I'm glad you brought up price point too, because that's also been a touchy subject in all angles. Mainly it's usually revolving around lights. But I don't think it's ever been taken to the controller world. But I mean, I spent a pretty penny on lights. But one of the reasons why I did that was because of just that reliability. I knew, like, I had the proof was in the pudding. There was several people that had vouched for him, and people that I trust. And I mean, that's part of this. You kind of, there's some things we're going into, and we have to ask around and get feedback. But yeah, I think to kind of touch on the price point thing, I mean, I think reliability is worth a lot. Like, I would pay more to know that it's gonna work for me at all times. I'm willing to pay that any day.
So another thing, while I have you here, I wanted to talk about lights because everyone talks about lights all the time, and it's very, I don't get to see you too often. So could you tell us more about the lights that you guys offer for the reef
Yeah,
tank?
yeah, sure. So there's two models of Mitras lights. You have your strips, which are called the Light Bar 2, which can be used as a primary source of lighting or supplemental. It's up to the person. And then you've got your fixture style lighting, which is the Mitras LX7, and that you can use as a primary source of light or supplemental. Although most people that pick up our light end up using it as their primary source of light. Um, the uniqueness of the fixture itself is in the way that we went about reflecting the light that's emitted from each LED diode. So in the 6 cluster model, because we have two models of the Mitras LX7 series. We have a 4 cluster model, which is the baby Mitras, and then we've got the 6 cluster, which has 6 clusters. Talking about the 6 cluster, you have 72 diodes, and within the 72 diodes, they're distributed evenly along 6 clusters. Within each cluster, you have a custom metal-coated reflector, which mimics the same performance of an old-school metal halide. And we know very well how nice.
Yeah.
Many of us might know how nicely a metal halide reflector spreads light, and it just blends it nice and evenly. With this reflector that the LX7 light uses, you get that same effect. So people that are used to or seeing metal halides over an aquarium would look at our light and say, "Oh, that looks awfully similar to what I've seen on a halide." And all that is doable because of the design of the reflectors.
Now,
And the question that we get is, what's so special about these reflectors? Why not use optics? Because other companies would choose to use optics or maybe diffusers. Our answer to that is when we were in the design process of the LX6, which is the prior model to the LX7s. When we were in the design process for the reflector side of things, we saw that when you use optics, you end up opening yourself up for more focused beams of light, and when you have more focused beams of light, you open up the possibility of creating the disco effect.
Right.
And for some people, that ends up being way too distracting, especially when they have a sand bed and all they see is the red and the green
The green dancing.
shimmering on the sand bed. Yeah. So when you work with an optic, you have your very narrow beams of light, and then you've got like little gaps in between the optics, where light is not emitted as strongly. All these optics combined, when they're pointed downwards towards the aquarium, it can create hotspots. So when you run your par meter across the tank, you might notice that you can move your par meter over the sand bed and you'll get one number, but then when you move it over 2 inches, you'll get suddenly a number that's probably double or 50% higher than what you saw 2 inches earlier. This seems to be a common thing for lights that use optics. And then for those that use diffusers, optics with diffusers, you're creating a more blanket-like light distribution, but you're also cutting down on par. You're cutting down on the light's ability to penetrate down to the taller tanks. So with our reflector design, we're able to get even light distribution, so you don't have to worry about the disco effect. You smooth out that light distribution, so you also eliminate your hotspots, and you also get a nice blanket light coverage, which is all common characteristics that you get out of a good old metal halide.
That's pretty dope. One of the questions, as you were talking about the light, they had two questions as far as reflector. He asks, is it made out of silver or aluminum, the reflectors? I don't know what this makes.
The reflector design?
Yeah, I guess they're asking what is the actual reflector made out of?
It's a metal coating on it. So if you touch it, it's like a metal material.
Nice. Lewis, have you ever seen those? Have you ever seen the lights that he's talking about before?
No, I'm curious. I'm definitely curious to see them.
One of the reasons why I liked GHL is because they have the full ecosystem, and it's something I've talked about on here before. I kind of like brands that have pretty much everything that I need, just in one setup. Like with Aquaforce, I like Aquaforce because they sell all kind of stuff, right? And I could just buy from one company and just stick with that methodology, right? The same thing with GHL. I'm not going to get a GHL controller and then add something else, and you know what I mean. You just keep going down in that ecosystem. Do you guys focus more on building lights or building controllers? Like, what's the main thing, or is it the brand itself?
The brand itself just focuses on whatever is in development. It just has to be built to the highest quality possible. The company first started off with a controller, and so that is the primary product for GHL. And then comes our dosers, and then the lights, and then our testing devices, our automated testing devices, KH Director and Ion Director.
Nice.
Yeah.
Louis, you got anything else for him? We've had you almost here for an hour, and I really appreciate you joining us. You know?
A lot of people, when you spoke about that new doser coming out, a lot of people seemed excited in the comments and stuff. Before we let you run, can you give us a little bit of, any updates of when, what season we're expecting to see this product releasing, and where we can find your products, and anything you want to share about the company?
Sure. A lot of questions there. So to start off, the Maxi 2.2, we still haven't made any official announcements as to when it's going to come out. Our main focus right now is to get the Ion Director out, make it a regularly stocked item. Once we have that taken care of, we can then focus our resources and efforts on the Maxi 2.2. Look for it sometime early next year. Of course, that's all assuming that supply chains are not affected, or they don't get even worse than they already are. So crossing our fingers, everything continues to just get better. We can look to having a Maxi early next year. Once we have a more specific date, we'll definitely make an announcement about it on our newsletters, emails, forums, social media. So anybody that's following us on our IG page, you'll hear about it there as well. If anybody's on our GHL owners group, or if they like our GHL company Facebook page, that's also a great place to go to for any new and upcoming products that we have in the pipeline. And the Maxi 2.2 is not the only product we have in the pipeline. We have other things in store too, which I'm
Nice.
sure people will get very excited about. Yeah, there's a product that's going to control your. It's going to be a heater / cooling device in one type of device. So when we have more specific information on that, we'll put it out there. If anybody wants to go to the GHL company page, it's called the Proflux Temperature Control 2 or PTC2. So the product page is there. So if they want to get a glimpse of what that product is all about and what it can do, the information's already there, and anybody can view it at any time. As far as where to find our products, you can find the products at any GHL dealer, any dealer that stocks our products and shows it on their website, has access to our whole line of products. You can also pick it up at our GHL USA store. So if you go to GHLUSA.com, that'll give you the direct link to our online store, and that's where you'll find all of our products categorized by controllers, dosers, lights, and automated testing devices. And of course, if anybody needs help putting together a custom package, all they have to do is just send us an email, sales@GHLUSA.com. Let us know what they're looking to do, and we'll take it from there. We'll ask them questions, and we'll work with them one-on-one to create their custom package so that they can get everything all in one shot, and then they can take their time setting it all up to their tank.
Nice. Well done.
Awesome. Wait, it was an honor to have you on, and you definitely represented GHL well. I look forward to being a future customer, and we hope to have you back on sooner than later, man. We can definitely always, continue to catch up on all your products and everything else going on. So thanks for joining, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks.
Very welcome. Thank you, sir.
All right, take it easy, guys.
Take it
Man,
easy.
have a great night.
You too.
All right.
Man, that was fun.
Yeah, it's pretty dope, right?
And we had GHL on, man. What we moving on up in this thing, man. I gotta give a shout out to Des on these, man. Des has definitely been going above and beyond, man, on making these really, really good lives come to life, man. So much credit to you on that one. Definitely a good one. And we got a lot more good ones coming too, based on what you've been telling me.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot more people. I've did the same thing I did to get all these boxes, man. I just asked the people, hey, do you want to come and join us? I remember a couple months ago when everyone was getting sponsored and everyone was like, oh, the hating. And every company that has sent me something, I've had come on here and explain to you what it is, how it works, you know what I'm saying, what its purpose is. And I kind of think, sometimes it's for the better, right? Because maybe you don't get that information. Maybe you don't get that experience. Maybe you don't get someone that's going to go live every week and show you what all this stuff does. And then you can make a choice. So I think both things can exist, because so far it's been a great thing. And if I was thinking about it over the whole course of the year, think about how many companies we've had on here, small companies, big companies. It's kind of dope. Personally, me, BRS. It's not just BRS. The majority of these stuff came from all of these companies individually, actually.
Yeah.
And that's just from me reaching out to them, not them reaching out to me. And that's how we're getting them on these streams and being able to bring you this type of information, I guess. So I think it's pretty dope.
And we've been look, lightning just started. I don't know why it usually starts at 11, but yep, that's the ecosystem you were talking about. It should start raining any minute.
I said get Terrence on. Shout out to Terrence, man. You guys give Terrence a lot of shit, bro. Shout out to that guy. I got the sky right there. I'm not going to show it to you right now. This is a GHL episode.
I would love to have them on, man. I really would. I mean, I'm dying for them to jump on. I'm going to tell you some people on my wish list, Des, and you got to work your magic.
All right, let me hear it.
BRS?
I'm working. Randy. So, guys, tag Randy.
That's a no-brainer, all right? Reef Dudes. He's on here today. I hope he's listening.
His real name is Devin. Tag him. He's from Canada. Tag him and tell him to join us.
Dude, I slid in the DMs. I think you slid. We don't know what else to do. We want to have you join, but
Right.
we definitely want to kick it off with you. You know, and dude, like, I would like to have like Red Sea on Tropic Mariner's goals. I mean, I can give them
The guy from Tropic Marin does a lot of stuff though. He does a lot of YouTube live streams.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt we can make it happen. I mean, I would tell you, I would be low key excited, like fanboyish.
You know what I
Because
think
I love
about
that. I love that
Instagram?
shit.
I think there's a couple different worlds going on, right? So I think you got the Instagram world, I think you have the YouTube world, and I think you got the Facebook world. And I think all three of those things are different things. Right? I think some of the guests that you see on Facebook that do a lot of Facebook lives, you're never gonna see them kind of doing Instagram lives. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
I don't know.
I
So
noticed that, but it's so weird to me. It's so weird to me because for me, I can literally like close my eyes and just press on, and it's like
it's the same
no
thing.
matter what platform I'm on, it's the same. We're gonna be talking the same way no matter where we're at. That's me. But I see your point, and I felt that because I noticed like they're very to their platform. And one thing I forgot to mention while we were on the live, but
Yeah, he said Lou from Tropic Marin. Somebody let him know we need him on Instagram. Because I've never seen him on Instagram before.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I seen his. Anybody that's watching, bro, I be dropping some gems of info, and a lot of it comes from that dude. That dude has a Magna speech. Those Magna speech are gems, bro. I don't know if you've ever sat on them, but I've gone all the way back to like the 2000s and stuff, and it's just all types of random people. I remember when ICPs first came out, the guy that like released them when he had his speech. Like, you learn so much from these Magna speeches, man. And Tropic Marins was amazing. I mean, granted, I'm a little biased because I love their product. You know what I mean? But still, I think it's very...
You know, I think you're the only person that uses that lightning, bro.
Bro, it's crazy. You know what's the crazy part about that, Des? Is that I've had AIs for probably like 7-8 years. And they've always had the lightning theme. And I never knew what it was for. And I technically, I still don't. Except now I'm using them. Because I added rain, which is as crazy as it is. But it's fine. I love to be able to say I finally found a reason to use them. I don't think anybody else can truly say that, though.
Nah, it's dope. It's dope.
I just figured, like, that's one of my top questions for one of these companies that are producing this lightning. Like, I need a full explanation. And you know what? I'm going to tell you one thing, Des. What really got me thinking about this, and once again, I've had lightning settings for so many years, so it's always ran the back of my head. But they went through so much shit to set that setting in the app and build that process in the light. Yeah. Dude, there has to be something behind it. It wasn't just like a feature, dude. Like, I think
I don't think the Sky does it. I don't think the Sky has it.
Really?
I don't think it has lightning or clouds. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Now, I will tell you.
I could be wrong, but I don't think the Sky has lightning or clouds.
Damn, I should have asked GHL about that. Oh. But speaking of, what was I going at with GHL? I forgot. Oh, as far as YouTube, I was watching Eat, Sleep, Reef on YouTube.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Dude, I hope he's on here, and if he's not, I hope he sees this. Dude, shout out to that guy on that tutorial for GHL. That is one of the most he really kind of convinced me to buy GHL. That was the most accurate instructional on how. Have you watched it by any chance?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. These bottles that I made years back.
Yeah. Dude, that guy is on the money. That was the most accurate thing. Like, he literally tells you exactly how to cut each and every hose. Like 16.7 inches if you're going to the top, 16.2 if you're sitting on the side. Like, you can't get more accurate than that. Like, he kind of sold me on go on to get a GHL because that's the best you can find out there in the street right now.
Nah, man, I like it. What's up, West Coast?
Who? What's up?
How you doing, sir?
Yo, what's up? What's up?
Not much. How you
What you think
doing?
of the convo?
Think you're on mute. I think you're on
Oh,
mute.
What you guys?
Not much. So what
Oh,
did you think about our GHL conversation?
to be honest with you,
I know
I
what
was
you
in and
are.
out.
Huh?
I was in and out of that conversation.
Okay. I
I'm not
know
even gonna
what
lie
you
to you.
are. You're fully committed.
Yeah, I'm a Neptune guy, so
ah,
it was it was no need for me to really. Not like I'm gonna switch over everything, you know.
Yeah,
ah,
your setup is crazy though. It's very well done.
Yeah, thanks, man. I just figured I'd jump in here real quick, say what's up. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
man.
I ain't seen you guys in a while.
Ooh,
Absolutely. You're not doing too bad at all.
Yeah,
yeah.
everything.
Did a bunch of stuff. I actually got some SPS living this time.
Ah,
I put in 6 in there about a month ago. I
Hmm.
haven't lost any, so I might put some more in there. Try to catch up.
Doing good, huh? You
Yeah.
ready, huh? I see. I've been looking at you. I've been
It's been a
looking at
month. They're
everything.
alive.
Yeah, yeah. That's the key. As long as they're not dying, you know.
They're not dying. So
You know.
I think this weekend I'm gonna put some more frags in there and just keep it going and see how they do.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, man. You're gonna hit up Mr. Tom Reef man for some frags.
Mr. Farm who?
Mr. Tom Reef man.
Tom Reef man. Yeah, I'm not driving to get him though. I'm not driving north
ah.
to get him.
Yeah,
I think he's pretty far north from me. He's a couple hours away.
he'll send you some.
Yeah, he's got some
This
nice
what
frags.
Yeah,
sticks?
his stuff it sticks is nice, man. Everything's coming out legit. I mean, just a matter of time. You know, your stuff will start taking off. Like the mine just finally this probably the last 3 4 months just really start taking off. So just sit back and relax. But sometimes you forget how slow these things really grow. You know.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know. Some people say, you know, I grow 5 inch colonies in 3 months. That's bullshit.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, they bought it like that. There's no way.
Yeah, about like that. It takes time, man, just to get your system right.
Absolutely.
I like it. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to fill it up with acros. That's always been my goal. I had started to buy some other corals, and then I was like, that's kind of not really what I want. You know, I kind of want to have a whole bunch of acros in the tank.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah,
like, let
yeah.
me just chill. Let me let the tank chill. Let me get everything really, properly set up. It's only been 2 months. There's no rush.
Yeah, you still got that lagoon too? The 25. Do you have a 25?
No, yeah, I took it down.
Okay.
The 25 Lagoon, what did I do with that? I think I gave that tank away to somebody. I
You
don't
gave
remember
it
what I
to
did with it.
somebody. You said it on the line. You gave it.
Yeah, I gave it away. Yeah, I believe I gave that tank to someone.
Man, if
And
I
then
would
I
have
still
known,
got the
sure, I would have
five
took
gallon
it.
frag. Huh?
If I would have known, I would have took it. I just picked one up, the 25
Ah,
lagoon.
oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I gave it to
Yeah.
somebody local. Somebody here
Oh,
local. I
okay.
posted on the local forum. And, since I got hooked up with getting the big one, I said, let me, do a good deed, and I passed it along.
Gotcha.
West Coast, what you plan to do with the 25?
Well, that I want to keep things that I can't keep in the big system. Since I got a couple of angels and stuff like that, so
Mm,
I want to keep some encanthos, some acans, and you know a lot of LPS, but I'll still have a few SPS in there.
gotcha.
But I just want to be able to keep the things that I know if I put in a new system, it'll get eaten up. So
I went to the store on my birthday and I bought a lemon peel angel. And I have a real love hate. Like
nips on everything, huh?
I like it, but it's like I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I don't. It was a bad. It was one of those impulse buys. But I'm
Yeah,
keeping it though. I'm not gonna try and catch it. I'm gonna just
you
buy
you won't
coral around it.
you won't be able to catch it.
Yeah, so it's definitely staying. Um,
Yeah,
and then so I kind of figured the same thing. Like I'm just been putting little things and seeing what it goes for. Like it's not really going for the LPS. It went for the ACAMs immediately, day one. So I traded all the ACAMs and I got some hammers. It didn't really mess with the hammers at all.
no, I don't want to mess with hammers.
Um,
Yeah,
the SPS that I put in, it only went after the bird's nest. all the rest of them, it kind of left them alone. So I don't know. I wasn't planning on putting too much LPS anyway, so maybe I'll add some more angels because I like them. I think they look dope.
Yeah, I like them. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna try more. You know,
Yeah,
in this tank, you know, I got the Regal. I tried the Morris Idol that I kind of knew, and everybody was telling me it's not gonna work,
yeah.
and it didn't work. So um, I do want to try a few more big angels in there.
How many
Um,
how many fish in total do you have in there, West Coast?
shit, I don't know, man.
Ballpark.
Probably like maybe like a 15, maybe 15 to 17 fish in there. But you know, it's not that many. I got a lot of big fish in there. You know.
Yeah.
I'm up to
That's a
11 so
bold,
far.
both of y'all risky. Both of y'all bold with the angel move.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's a bold move.
I want to try it. Like I said, I only got two angels in here really. Flame angel who picks at everything, like you said. You know.
And they're
Um,
so beautiful though.
yeah, but I gotta have it. You know, so let's get
Yeah.
it. And the Regal. I mean, he's picking
that's
here
one I
and
want
there
to
and
add too.
everything. Yeah.
I
I
want to
want to
add the
go.
Regal. I want to add I think it's called the LB, or
Yeah.
something like that, LBI or something. And there's one more that it kind of looks like the lemon peel, but it's not. Because
Yeah.
I already got the one in there, so anything I put in there, it's gonna eat it anyways. So I might as well just not put the corals and add the better looking fish. And then you kind of got a unique tank because then you got something other people don't have.
Something different, yeah. You know, like I said, I want a gold flake in there.
The Gold Flake, yeah,
Yeah,
I
Beautiful.
yeah,
seen
gold
one at
flake.
my local LFS had one.
It's bad, man.
So
It's a
Yep,
bad fish. Yeah,
I think they're dope.
what y'all think?
Because it's also weird that everybody has the same fish. If you really think about it, there's a million fish out there, and we got the same 15 fish.
Hey,
yeah.
don't say
Everybody.
everybody. Mr. Coral King over here with the mask
He's
angel
he's
Oh
fish.
he's
yeah.
the only one.
Hey, nobody's got Coral King's fish. He's
Yo,
unique.
that's
He got them lotto fish. You know.
I
did you
wonder if he
see
ever got his fish back.
did you ever see that episode, West Coast? The one where we were live with him and he had the fish in his trunk?
Yeah, yeah. I did see some of that. Yeah, that was crazy.
That was so crazy. That was an exclusive right there.
Yeah, I
Dude
need to
had
ask
half
him
quarter
after this
million.
what
Yeah,
happened to those fish.
that was that was crazy. I guess he was taking them out because he had aptasia or something, right? Who does that?
Yo,
Yeah,
he
who
had
does
a
that?
quarter. Hold on, wait a minute. He flew somebody in from California, for whoever missed it, to help him pack it up, to then fly the man back over, to then leave the $250,000 in fish
In
in
the
the trunk
garage.
overnight, to then throw him over to Cali. No, 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 no.
Yeah, who does that, man?
That was one in a
Only
million right there.
that's crazy.
That's a
Yeah, he was
story
tripping.
though.
He
You
was
Yeah,
say
tripping.
you say it and people don't believe it. You know what I mean? Like
nah.
I'm repeating it and I don't believe it.
100K fish? Is that what it was?
It was more than that.
It was
Because
more than that.
some of those fish he showed us, he told us they were like 20 grand.
It was a quarter. It was 220,000 to be exact.
Yeah,
$220,000 in fish.
Yeah,
yeah.
Damn.
just
That's
the
a
two
high.
masked angels. I think
Because he came on one time and he
30.
showed us every fish, and then he started to tell us how much they all cost. And all of them were like 15, 20, 10. You know what I mean? The small ones were like 10, 5.
The
Yeah,
last
he
That's
was
two,
going crazy.
the last two he bought were from some guy in Japan. I mean, these were straight out of some guy's tank in Japan. Never seen American soil, the fish that species itself. And I want to say he said the ticket was 20K on each of them, on both of those, as far as with the live. So yeah, I mean, there was a lot of money in that trunk. That's crazy. I mean, he's a ballsy guy.
damn.
I didn't
And
even
just
brag overnight.
just
I'm
to, and
shitting
just to
bricks.
put them in a trunk, you know what I mean? That don't even sound right,
It doesn't.
right?
I told him you should have just took it to the airport. Like I would have just for that I just leave it at the airport. I'm gonna leave it in the car.
Just keep it in the truck overnight.
It's
That and
tripping.
it costs $20,000 for each fish. That's crazy.
We definitely need to get an update on that, though.
We do.
Is he on today? I have my
I don't
feed's
know.
been frozen the whole time. I've been hoping you're checking the comments and the questions because I haven't been able to.
Let me see if he's here.
I can't
No,
see
he's
the
not here
comments
right now.
either.
You're frozen too, West Coast?
Yeah, I can't see the comments.
Yeah, for some reason I got stuck early on. That's why I disconnected, guys, because I was trying to get it done.
All right, gentlemen. Well, we're gonna end it with that. I appreciate
Hey,
you guys.
All right,
appreciate
man.
y'all. Have a
You
good
guys
night.
take care.
All right,
Appreciate
have a good night, guys.
All right,
it. Good
later.
night.